Hello, my name's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be reviewing which stocks and shares ISA might be the right one for you. They're also called investment ISAs here in the UK, and they are a very tax efficient way of investing. So in today's video, I am going to go through 7 different investment ISA providers. They are Vanguard, Freetrade, AJ Bell, Fidelity, Barclays, Hargreaves Lansdown, and Interactive Investors. So all of these different companies provide a platform which will allow you to invest £20,000 a year, and any money that you make on those investments will be completely tax-free. So I wanted to talk about most of the big players here in the UK within the investing sector, and I have had personal experience of using almost every single one of these investment platforms. So I have Vanguard investments, I've used Freetrade, I have my self-invested personal pension with AJ Bell, I have a Fidelity investment ISA, I also have a Barclays investment ISA. Moving on to Hargreaves Lansdown, I have a junior investment ISA for my children with Hargreaves Lansdown, and the only platform that I haven't used is Interactive Investors. So I have had a varied experience of using these different platforms, but first of all, I want to get stuck into fees, because fees are a really important factor when you are choosing which investment platform to go with. So I will be including a full spreadsheet in this video which breaks down all of the different fees for each and every platform and giving you a scenario of what your costs would be for each platform. So why are fees so important? I'm going to take some information from Vanguard's website here. So they're saying, imagine you have $100,000 invested. If the account earned 6% a year for the next 25 years and you had no fees or costs, you'd end up with $430,000. If, on the other hand, you paid 2% a year in costs, after 25 years, you'd only have about $260,000. That's right, the 2% you paid in every year would wipe out almost 40% of the final account value. So this example is obviously comparing no fees versus 2% fees. And obviously with investing, there are always going to be fees associated, but I think that it's really important to choose the right platform with the lowest fees that provides a service that you are happy with. So fees are really, really important. So when you're considering which investment ISA or stocks and shares ISA to choose, fees should be one of the first things that you are looking at. So I've done this spreadsheet and I will be sharing with you the lowest fees all the way through to the highest fees for each of the platforms. I have based this example on investing a lump sum of £5,000 and investing that across 5 different ETFs. Now, obviously, there are going to be lots of different versions of this. You might have a lot more money to invest than £5,000. You might have a lot less. And when you're investing a lot more money, certain caps and maximum fees do sometimes come into play. So if you're investing a lot more than this, then I will probably put together another video for a higher value investment ISA. But today we're going to be talking through the percentage fees, the monthly fees for investing £5,000 into 5 different ETFs. Obviously, you can also invest in funds, trusts, and individual stocks and shares, but I wanted to keep this video nice and simple, and I know that a lot of people do choose to invest in ETFs. So starting off with the lowest fees, we have Vanguard, which has an annual fee of 0.15%. So the dealing fee, if you are buying ETFs or funds on Vanguard's website, is 0. The only time that a fee applies for investing on Vanguard's website is if you choose to buy at the live price. If you choose to buy at the live price, there is a fee of £7.50. However, this is probably not something that you're going to do, so the fees would be nothing. So that means that £5,000 invested across 5 different ETFs on the Vanguard website would cost you £7.50 in a year. So that is very, very low cost investing. And that is something that Vanguard is very much well known for. They keep their fees nice and low and their product nice and simple. Obviously, when I'm talking through these examples, there might be ongoing charges for specific funds or investments, but I don't know what you want to be investing in, so I can't break those down for you. So this is simply the platform fees. So the next option is Freetrade. So Freetrade is a fairly new player to the investing game, and their monthly annual fees are set at £3. So it's not a percentage charge here, it's simply a £3 fee, and there is no dealing fee for ETFs on the Freetrade platform, and Freetrade is an app rather than a website for investing at the moment. So 5k across 5 different ETFs for 1 year would cost you £36 as a standard amount. The only thing that you might be wary of is that, as I said before, Freetrade is fairly new to the market, whereas a lot of the other companies that I'm talking through are much more established. So moving on now to AJ Bell, their annual fee is 0.25% and their dealing fees are £9.95. So 5k across 5 different ETFs would cost you £62.25. So that is really, really good, particularly because AJ Bell do have a vast variety of different ETFs, funds and trusts available. So you have got a lot of choice if you are investing with AJ Bell. And the regular investment fee, if you wanted to invest regularly with AJ Bell, is £1.50. So moving on now to Fidelity, which is the next lowest one. So Fidelity comes in at number 4. The annual fee for Fidelity is 0.35%. And the dealing fee for ETFs is £10. So 5k across 5 different ETFs would cost you £67.50. Regular investments are £1.50 as well. Moving on now to Barclays, which is actually where I hold the majority of my money in stocks and shares ISAs. I have other videos which review the Barclays platform. It's Barclays Smart Investor. Their fees from the outset look very, very low. So they're 0.1% for ETFs, and then the fees for holding funds on the platform are 0.2%. So looking quite similar to Vanguard fees, which is great. However, with Barclays, there is a minimum monthly fee of £4. So if you haven't got a huge amount of money invested, then you are going to be having to spend £48 a year. So when we're doing this calculation for £5,000, we're obviously paying the minimum of £4 a month, so it's £48 a year as costs. Then the dealing fees are £6, which is on the lower side again. So overall, investing in 5 different ETFs with £5,000 would cost you £78. The regular investment fee is £1. So as I said, if you have got more money to invest than £5,000, then actually Barclays is a really good option. However, in this example, I am obviously talking about only investing £5,000. And if you are investing only £5,000 with Barclays Smart Investor, then that's actually bringing your fees up to £48 a year, £4 a month, which is 0.96% in fees, so quite a lot. However, obviously, the more money you have invested with Barclays Smart Investor, then those 0.1% fees for ETFs will come into play. So moving on now to Hargreaves Lansdown, their annual fees are 0.45% and the dealing fee for ETFs is £11.95. That's bringing your total cost for 5k across 5 ETFs to £82.25. And then your regular investment fee, if you wanted to continue investing regularly, is £1.50. And then finally on to our most expensive option, but this is the most expensive option if you're only investing £5,000. If you were investing much, much more, then this could be an option that is worth looking into for you, because Interactive Investor has a monthly $9.99 fee. So that does come out at quite a lot of money if you're only investing £5,000. However, if you have much more to invest, it might be worth looking into. So $9.99 a month. Your first investment that you make in a month is free, so there is no dealing fee for the first investment you make, and then other than that it will be $7.99 for each investment that you make. So what I've done here for the sake of this video is decided that what we're doing is investing in 5 different ETFs in the first month when we are putting in our £5,000 lump sum, and because that first investment is free, we are only doing $7.99 times by 4 plus that $9.99 a month, which brings us in at a total of £151.84 pence for investing with interactive investors. So that is by far the highest amount. However, as I said, if you have more money to invest, it might be worth looking into as an option. So those are all the fees broken down for you. I'll just pop them up on the screen for you just in case you want to have another look at them, or in case you want to screenshot it or something like that for your own reference. As I said, if you have more money to invest than £5,000, then there are often different price caps at different points. For example, with AJ Bell, as an example, if you have more than £250,000 invested, then the fees drop from 0.25% to 0.1%. At the moment, I'm not lucky enough to have over £250,000 invested, but if you do have a bigger amount of money to invest, it is worth checking out all the different caps for all of the different providers. And if you do have a lot of money to invest, it might be worth looking at a platform that does have a monthly fee rather than a percentage fee. But I just wanted to base this example purely on investing £5,000 across 5 different ETFs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each and every investment ISA provider that I've mentioned in this video and talk about any personal experience that I have had using each and every platform. I'm also going to talk you through any pitfalls that you might need to look into before choosing those providers and review them in general. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about Vanguard. So Vanguard has been a very well-established platform since 1975 in the US. And obviously Vanguard's founder, John C. Bogle, established the first ever index fund and put a real emphasis on low cost investing and making it available to the masses. So as I said, Vanguard was established back in 1975 in the US, but it is now established in the UK since 2009, and you can open up an investment ISA with them. So as I said, the main positive with Vanguard is the fact that it's established, but also those really low fees. So as I said at the start of the video, just £7.50 a year if you want to invest £5,000 into 5 different ETFs. The only downfall that I would say personally in opening up a Vanguard account is that you are limited to making only Vanguard investments. So I believe they have around 75 different funds available on the Vanguard website, but if you wanted to invest in something outside of Vanguard, so if there was a specific actively managed fund or area of interest that you wanted to invest in, it might not be available on the Vanguard website. And for me personally, that is the reason why I have not opened up a Vanguard stocks and shares ISA, simply because there were some investments that I wanted to make that were not available on the Vanguard platform. However, if you want to make Vanguard investments, you're really interested in investing in index funds and ETFs, then the Vanguard fees are pretty much unbeatable. So Vanguard might be the right option for you. Okay, moving on to the next cheapest option, which was Freetrade. As I said, just £3 a month. The only thing that I would say about Freetrade is that they are quite new to the market, having only been established here in 2016. Also, as far as I understand, most of the investing is done on an app, and you might feel more comfortable being able to make your investments on a website. I have used Freetrade to invest small amounts of money into individual stocks and shares as my sort of fun account. But for me at the moment, because Freetrade is so new, and also they did not have some of the actively managed funds that I wanted to invest in available, I decided not to open up an investment ISA with Freetrade. The app is very, very user friendly, and if you are wanting to start an investment ISA or a stocks and shares ISA, then £3 a month is really, really good. Also, if you are a person who wants to trade regularly within your investment ISA, then the fact that there is no dealing fees is really, really positive, and you can also buy fractional shares on Freetrade as well. I personally like to invest for the long term, so I am not dealing regularly. So for me personally, the fact that Freetrade doesn't have any dealing fees doesn't matter so much to me, because I was more interested in the range of investments that were available to me and the fact that a company was more established. However, Freetrade is still a really, really good option. It just wasn't right for me for my investment ISA. Moving on now to AJ Bell. So I think AJ Bell is a really, really strong option. They are relatively cheap for the platform that they provide. They have an app available as well as a website available. I have my self-invested personal pension with AJ Bell, so that's a SIP. So they have been really, really good. Their customer service is incredible, I think. So whenever I ring AJ Bell, they always pick up on the first ring, and the people that I've spoken to have been very, very knowledgeable and been able to answer my questions very quickly. That was for when I was transferring my SIP across and over to them. So I find their customer service to be very, very good. Their website is very good, and also their app is strong too. They also had a vast range of investments available, and they had all of the funds, trusts and ETFs that I wanted to invest in. So AJ Bell for me is a really strong contender for your investment ISA, but it is that little bit more expensive than Vanguard and Freetrade. Moving on now to Fidelity, I actually have an investment ISA with Fidelity, and their fees are pretty good. The app is also really, really nice to use. Their customer service has been fine. I haven't had to do an awful lot with them because I have found that their app is really user friendly. So I haven't used the customer service with Fidelity that heavily, but they are a very well established company. They have a good range of funds, trusts and ETFs available, so they might be an option worth considering for you. Moving on now to Barclays Smart Investor. I also have an ISA with Barclays Smart Investor, and I really, really like the service that they provide. For me, Barclays Smart Investor was the first investment platform that I opened up. I actually read a book years ago where it recommended Barclays Smart Investor, and that is why I opened it up. It wasn't based on the fees or anything like that. I was simply starting my investing journey, and it was the platform that was recommended at the time. However, what is really good for me about Barclays Smart Investor is those low fees. As I mentioned in the video, if you are investing £5,000, it does come up at the higher end of fees. However, if you have more money invested, then an annual fee of 0.1% if you're investing in ETFs is really, really low. It's actually lower than Vanguard. So if you are thinking that you are going to be investing for the long term and you are going to be putting a lot of money into an investment ISA, or stocks and shares ISA as they're otherwise called, then Barclays might be worth considering because those fees are very good once you've got over the hurdle of the £4 a month fee, which does make it a little bit higher if you are investing in lower values. What I also really like about Barclays Smart Investor, I actually have a separate video on Barclays Smart Investor because I've been using them the longest, and that's the platform I probably know the most about. But they have a really, really good chat service on their website. So any questions that I have about my investments or dealing fees or anything like that, I can very quickly go onto the chat service and someone will get back to me within a matter of seconds or minutes. So I find that to be a really, really strong service. And again, as I said, everyone I've spoken to has been really, really knowledgeable on their chat service and has got my answer for me very, very quickly. So I do really, really like Barclays Smart Investor, and I will continue to hold my ISA with them. And then also another positive with Barclays Smart Investor is those dealing fees of £6, which are lower than the competitors, apart from the ones that are obviously providing that for free. They are actually the lowest dealing fees, apart from Vanguard or Freetrade, who obviously don't have dealing fees. Moving on now to Hargreaves Lansdown. As I said, I have my children's junior ISAs with Hargreaves Lansdown. So they're just basically stocks and shares ISAs, but for kids, where I can invest in a tax efficient way for them as well. Their app is really, really good. The research available on the Hargreaves Lansdown website is very, very good, and the information that is provided is very, very good and is presented in a really clear way. However, you don't necessarily have to have a Hargreaves Lansdown account to use that information. The Hargreaves Lansdown office is here in the UK and is based in Bristol, so I believe that much of their telephone customer service comes over to their Bristol office, and it is a well-established company with a really good app, a really good website, and I think it could be a good option if you are looking at setting up an investment ISA. And then finally, moving on to Interactive Investor. So this is a company that I actually have no personal experience using. If I'm completely honest, I have got friends that use it, that rave about it, say that it's very good. And as I said, if you have a large investment pot, the monthly fees might be worth it. For me personally, I don't have a huge investment pot, which is largely why I haven't used Interactive Investor, just because it doesn't make financial sense. The fees of $9.99 a month are too much for someone unless you have a big pot. But it's definitely worth considering if you do have a big pot to invest, because they have got excellent reviews. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Any questions, please do pop them in the comments down below and I will definitely get back to you. As always, I am not a financial advisor or an expert in investing. I am just sharing my own personal journey with investing, letting you know what I'm doing, the companies that I'm using, and how it's going for me. So if you fancy subscribing, that would be absolutely awesome, and have a really lovely day. Bye bye.